Oh, this is taking so long. This is taking, like, literally almost an hour and 45 minutes to figure out how this stupid arm works. I hate you so much, LARRE. Blah. Linear air or linear rail articulated entity. You are a pain in the neck. Hello everyone, I'm Level36 and welcome back to Stationeers. In this episode, we're going to be doing, well, the big project is to get the code for my LARRE arm to be able to automatically change the filters of my atmospheric system done. It is not yet done, but hopefully it will be soon. Last time we tried this, our base exploded, so hopefully that doesn't happen this time. But first, there's a little bit of cleanup I gotta do. There's a couple little bits and pieces of other projects that I wanted to just wrap up, because we're gonna wrap up all the projects in one episode. And I didn't want to jump right into coding, because, well, that's kind of boring, if I'm being honest. And the other things, while not strictly time-sensitive, are kind of time. Well, one of them is. The other one I can wait on, but first of all, I wanted to grab my stacker and some chutes. And then I wanted to grab some pipes and another tank. Because if we run outside, it is to do with our airlock here. Well, one of these is. So the tank and the pipes are to increase the size of the storage tank for the airlock's kind of self-stored atmosphere. Whereas the stacker is to do a little bit of a change to our gas turbine, or gas centrifuge, I guess, turbine, to make that work ever so slightly better. Alright. Do I have space down here? These can be mounted upside down, so what we will do is mount it upside down. This time, I won't completely forget to turn off my drill and labeler so that you have to listen to that awful noise the entire episode. Although, to be fair, I probably reduced the volume of that significantly in the last episode. This should now greatly increase the amount of plumbing, or the amount of volume that are, just make sure you are off. The amount of volume, where is my wrench? That we can, that will be present in our atmospheric system. So you can see here, now there is 63 kilopascals, and this has a 6,000 liter capacity as opposed to the 3,000 liter capacity of this little pipe network. So because everything was getting condensed so much, it was overwhelming our 2000 kPa, so 2 megapascal limit that we had on our back pressure limit. And it was also condensing, so, you know, all in all, glad I did this. Ooh, there's a piece of copper ore down here. From something. Probably mining out all this. Yeah. So, that now should mean that when we depressurize our airlock, there's more space to hold all of that pressure, and thus less likelihood of exceeding the total pressure limit. Secondly, I found where the other cable broke. So we short-circuited our batteries last time. Oh, I forgot to bring the fuses out. How much do I care? But yeah, it also burned out that cable, which feeds our storage system over there. Because this cable, I believe, actually runs straight down to down here, which also powers all of that. So I'm glad nothing else burnt out, or at least nothing else that I can see as of right now burnt out, or it seems to. So I definitely need to add another fuse. Ideally, like, right there is where it needs to be. And we need to figure out what all went wrong there, because that was ridiculous. So yeah, now our resource storage is back online, and then finally on the quick to fix things, if we come out here, so our gas turbine is, like, the script that I used for it, I think is just a little unhappy with it being fed like 1Z, 2Z ores at a time. So if we, these are all probably like chock full. So let's just turn these off real quick. Probably should have done that, like, when I was preparing for this episode, so as to have a chance to process through all of this. But instead, we'll just play catch all the ore. Because we're just going to put a stacker in line. Yeah, so let's pull up that light. Oops. And drill. Yeah. Just throw this stacker. In line, like that. We are going to set this to a stack size of 100, because I believe, if you look at the ore, 50, okay. Max stack size of 50. So now, we should insert 50 at a time, which should mean this will actually process all 50 at once, instead of, like, doing 2, and then stopping, like it has been doing so far. The problem now is hooking this up. So to make this as painless as possible, a merge in, because we're going to definitely need that. Alright. Now it's time to make a mess. Oh, there's so many ore. Oh no. There is so many in the tube. Alright, well, it's okay. We'll just have to collect them all back up. But now, if we put that way, and pick up all of the various dirty ore around, toss that into there. so much.
Hydration critical.
Second here, this should actually not take very long. There's more. Okay, maybe there's a little more than I thought there was going to be. That can hold for now. There's probably some piled up down there as well. Ooh. This is why we're having some FPS issues. There's so many entities just sitting around. Storage space for all of this. Bit of an issue. That should free up a little bit of space. Very little bit. Yeah, now next time this runs, it should grab a full stack of 50, and then it should have a lot more to process through to get up to speed, and then go down from speed. And I am just going to do something over here where I'm going to just grab a corner, great inlet. We're just going to throw all of these in here. These will all get processed. Pick up all of these various entities that are just sitting all around the base, probably causing a bunch of lag. Don't see any down there. I think that's most of them, if not all of them. Yeah, now we can turn these back on. Start our production again, and now this should process like 50 at a time, which should make it happier, I think. Let's see. It's got 45 that it needs to process. Is it going to run up to higher RPMs, or is it going to just kind of do the same thing, short cycle that it's been doing? If it does, then we might need to look into a better script. Getting there. Still going up in speed.
Waste tank caution.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's working better now. I hope so. We've taken enough time looking at it, though. So, general improvement, I think. So, that was the last couple things we had to fix. Now, it should just be working on a bit of a program. And I'm going to curse myself by saying this, but I don't think this is going to be that difficult. I have an idea of what I need to do already, if that helps at all. Let's see if our pressurization goes a little bit better. Well, probably not this time. It'll be the next cycle that it's a little bit happier on. Take my suit off, and we can deal with the waste tank later. Let's just head downstairs. Now, some water. Essentially, because it's been a while, I'll run through the concept of what we're trying to do real quick. So we have this LARRE arm here, and what it does is it can grab filters from this Atmos print, which we need to put some iron in, but we can do that in a minute. But its goal is it's supposed to grab a filter from this to replace the filters. Actually, I can just jump back up. That'll make this a little easier. Replace the filters up here that need replaced. So you can see a lot of our filters are at like 0%, absolutely ruined. We don't want our filters to be completely destroyed. So we need to swap them out. Now, I've been doing this manually, and I certainly could have set up some kind of alarm or light to show the life left in all these filters, but originally the intent was to do it fully automatically, so I wouldn't have to do that, and we kind of just got sidetracked. So now we're back to doing it automatically. We're trying. So what we need to do is we're going to batch read all of our atmospherics. If any of the filters are at 0, we're going to send the arm up to basically scan one by one through each of the filters to find the one that's at 0. Once it finds the one that's at 0, it's going to grab it, take it all the way back down, dump it in the drop-off bin there, which will send it to be recycled, and then ask this to print a new filter, pick it up here, go back and reinsert it in the machine that it just grabbed it from. So, to do that now is the complicated part. And yeah, I just dumped a bunch of stuff on here to make a good thumbnail, okay? Okay. We don't need most of this. It's all actually already wired up, ready to go. Back to those. We just go in there. We don't need them anymore. And grab our laptop, set it in the same position as it was before, when we did blow up the whole place. This was originally the IC housing I was going to use for it, but it's currently running our only source of food. So I figured I'd throw down a new IC housing to make our lives just a little bit simpler. Wire cutters, I do need those cables. Cable that in. We shouldn't need to build anything. Now, I was going to just write this script off camera and just dump it in here, but I figured I'd go through it just so that we can do some learning together. Oh, it's editing level here. I'm here, even though I know I just said that I was going to walk through the writing of this script live, to save you from that misery, and perhaps sprinkle a few clips of me losing my mind after the fact. This took like 2 hours to write. I bit off a little more than I could chew, as it was, and this was just a mess of trying to figure out integration hell with LARRE. So I'm going to walk through the finished script in a little bit of a cleaner detail so that hopefully I can explain what it's doing while still shortening the video down to something actually watchable. So the start is the same as most of my scripts. I alias out all of my various devices. So the fabricator, which is our hydraulic pipe bender, the LARRE arm, the drop-off bin, and the indicator. This is used just as a display of how much iron we have left for the system to print with. Then we make some named variables, so the target station, the filter status, the item hash. We define a filter hash as this. This is a hash for the atmospheric system itself. So those modules, the atmospheric module, or the filter module of the atmospherics kit specifically, this is that prefab hash. We clear the memory of the fabricator and we set the fabricator's lock to 0. I don't know if this is strictly necessary anymore, but this is kind of our initialization section. Our main loop starts off with a jump and return to get lowest filter. This load batch. So we're going to load batch, not load batch name, but load batch from the slot. So LBS, load batch slot, into R1 from the filter units, from slot 0, the quantity and the minimum. So this gets the lowest percentage of all of the filters in slot 0. Same thing for slot 1. Then we take the minimum of both of those into the filter status. This gives us our kind of like lowest filter in the set. And then we return. Then we check fab reagents. So this is probably close to the bottom because I gotta add this at the bottom. Yeah. This just goes through and displays how much iron, or essentially any reagent, but it's only ever going to actually be iron, that is in the hydraulic pipe bender, because the hydraulic pipe bender for all of the basic filters just requires iron. So we load from the fabricator into R1 the reagents, which is just the count of how many reagents it has left. We set our indicator, which is just the digital sign or the console, with the setting from R1. So that's just displaying the number. And then branch not equal to 0, R1, 3 lines. So we're saying, hey, we're going to skip this if this is not equal to 0. So it turns red if it's at 0. We branch greater than 50, 3 lines. So if it's less than 50, we display yellow. Otherwise, it's just green. So that's kind of like a color status as well as actually displaying the number. Going back up to our main loop, branch equal. Oops, I threw a new line in there somewhere. Oops, there we go. Branch equal to 0, or not branch equal to 0. I guess I could have done a branch equal to 0, but this is branch equal and return AL. Filter status 0. So if we wanted to replace filters preemptively, we could, I guess. Maybe that's my logic of when I put this in here, but I'm so far removed from that version of myself, luckily, that I don't remember why I did this. It was probably just in my 18th time looking at this script and trying to make it work. I was trying anything, so as per their typical programmer experience. But then we go to find filter. This is where things really starts to unravel in the episode. So find filter. The first thing we do is we move the return address into R4 because we actually use the return address and other parts of the script, so we have to reset the return address. I think maybe. No, we don't. This is entirely vestigial. It's left over from when I was doing something else. Ignore me. I'm still not quite sure how this was written, and you can kind of see my madness bleeding out through this. Maybe in the final version of this script, I will clean it up a little bit before I post it. So don't expect this script to be down below the video, or maybe I'll throw it out there. And I don't know. Perhaps I'll put it on a pinned comment when I have time to go and take a pass at it. But we move 0 into our target station register. We define our max station as 4. So this is the maximum number of our station increments. When it starts at 0, it goes to 4, so 5 filter modules. So 0 is our first filter module, which in my playthrough is the oxygen filter. Then the 4th station, which is actually the 5th filter module, is the pollutants filter. Then we do this little loop here. So we set our own setting to the target station. This is kind of just for monitoring and debugging. It's not strictly necessary. And then we okay, move is still required here because we use JAL. So we JAL into move arm. So we move the arm to the target station. Move arm is a pretty easy to understand script here. It is just setting the setting of the LARRE arm to the target station. We're yielding, and then we load from the LARRE arm the position X. We set our own setting to R1 just to see where the LARRE is, what it's doing. Then we yield again. Then we set our self setting to the target station. And we branch not equal R1 target station to move arm. So this is essentially saying, hey, continue this loop until the R1, which is our actual position from LARRE arm, is equal to the target station. So this is just going to make it move and not do anything else. So it waits until it moves and then jumps to the return address. So if we go back to here, we move to 0 because our target station is 0. Set our LARRE target slot index to 0. Load slot into R1 from the LARRE 255, which is the kind of manipulator slot, the occupied. So that's just saying, hey, is there a filter here? If not, we go to loop end because we don't need to do the rest of this, and it will actually break things if we do the rest of this, which also caused me some more frustration. If it is occupied, we load the quantity into R1. Then we load into the item hash, the occupant hash. Then if it is equal to 0, we go to grab it. If it is not equal to 0, we do the same thing for target slot 1. So on those filters, the 2 filter slots, one is slot 0, one is slot 1. The grab script sets this new alias, return station, and sets the return slot to R4. And I'm starting to see where maybe my script broke because it's still kind of not working entirely right. So I'll have to experiment with that some more. But it's working good enough for now that I'm willing to continue my explanation. Because I'm just noticing now that my return address, but then again, I don't think I ever reset the return address, so it's actually kind of fine. Yeah, also, if it is equal to 0, or yeah, if the occupied is equal to 0, we just go to loop end, which just increments. I forgot to explain this earlier, but it increments the target station by 1, unless it's equal to the, unless it is greater than or less than the max station. Or no, it increments it by 1, then it goes to loop entry as long as it is less than the max station. Once it's equal to the max station, we just set the self setting to 1 and just jump back to the main. But anyway, the grab script is where stuff really started to go wrong for me, because this is where I was trying to figure out how to get the filter out, or the filter cartridge out of the filter module, carry it back, drop it off, print the new filter, pick it up, and carry it back to the where it needed to go. And I thought this was going to be simple, and I was so very wrong. Because essentially what happened here was I had planned out all of the stuff that I just explained, of like scanning through the array, doing all of that, looping over each of the modules. And I based a lot of that on a great Cows Are Evil video that explains the core concepts of what I'm doing here. I just thought I would take my own pass at it. Man, I should have just wholesale copied his script, because it's so much better than mine. So that's probably what I'm going to actually recommend people do. I'll link that video in the description, and you can go watch that after you finish watching this video. But regardless, the grab section of this script, we get a return station and a return slot. So this is just saying, hey, I want to go back to this position once we finish printing, so that we can return to that empty spot and put the filter back in there. Then we move our target station into the return station. We remove the target slot index into the return slot. Then we set the LARRE activate to 1. This actually goes and grabs the filter. Then we jump to make. Now make, I was using the script that I had wrote for the assemblers for this, which is admittedly way more complicated than it needs to be for this purpose, because the whole reason why the script for the assemblers is so complex is because the assemblers, like a fabricator, will only actually return its next needed reagent hash if it is locked. So I send operators to lock the unit, to send the next instruction, to read the required reagent hash, to run that whole script so that it sends out the materials from the vending machine that I need and all that. So I tried using that, but I didn't need any of that extra stuff. So I tried just cutting it out, and then it wasn't working, and it was kind of a whole mess. And then it started printing the wrong thing. I got really frustrated, so I went and looked up another tutorial in the middle of the video and kind of tried to figure it out from there. And I ended up with this, which is from the Cows Are Evil script that I mentioned before. And it's a much cleaner way of doing it. What I might end up actually going and retrofitting back into my fabricator scripts. But this essentially builds that binary string that needs to get sent to the memory of the assembler in a much cleaner way. So we SSL, so logical left shift the item hash into R1 8 bits over. Then we add 1, the quantity, to that. Then we left logical shift that again by 8 bits. And then we OR onto that our printer instruction execute recipe. Then we put that in the 0th memory slot in the fabricator, and then we jump to a return address. So much cleaner and less susceptible to negative bits causing issues, which is, I believe, what is causing issues to my assemblers during where it like stays locked, is because this whole string gets screwed up because of a negative bit in the item hash. Much better way of doing it, much cleaner and easier to understand. But then we jump back to the return address. which is right here. We move to target station 5, which is the drop-off station. We set the target slot index to 0 because this can still be 1 at this point. This also caused me great frustration when it wasn't actually dropping off the filter until I realized that it wasn't targeting the right slot, because even if a building does not have a 0 to 1 or a 1 slot, if it's not targeting the 0 slot, it won't drop the material off. Then we again go to move arm to go actually to that 5th station. We activate after that's complete, and we move to station 6. Then we activate again. So this is the pickup system. So this picks up that new filter, and in this time, this has had plenty of time to make that one new filter. Then we close the drop-off bin to send it to the recycling loop. Then we move back into our target station, our return station, and then we set our target slot from the return slot. We move the arm, and we activate to drop the new filter back into the layer, or back from the layer into the filter module. Then we just tell it to go home, so we set the target station to 7, which is the home station in this case. We move the arm, and we jump back to main. This took legitimately like 2 hours to do, and was fraught with many, many attempts and many, many failures. So hopefully my 15-minute explanation is a little bit more palatable than that. And again, if you have more questions about the script, or if you want to know more, first of all, go watch the Kazariva video that I mentioned. He's a lot better at this than I am. Been doing it a lot longer too. Secondly, join my Discord and ask me. I do understand what I was doing here a little bit better, hopefully. So if you're trying to set this up as well, and you see this and you're like, why doesn't it work for me? And you also have watched the Kazariva video, or you just want to chat, come join the Discord, ask me questions about it. I will post this script in its entirety on Discord. Not that I think you should use it. Don't either write something yourself or use the Kazariva version, because that is so much more better than this. So yeah. I'll go back to probably now a montage of me screaming at LARRE and my frustration with this. But please enjoy the rest of the video. Oh, but hopefully we're close to the end. I think we've figured most of it out, as long as this... Oh, I am stuck. Ah. I cannot jump down through there anymore. That is less than convenient. For testing purposes, we're just going to rip up the floor real quick. Line 50, there's an error. Yeah, we're just jumping to the end. Breaking out. I don't know why it's unhappy about that. Do I need to do something in between? Oh, because yeah, that's why. Every time you hit enter, it moves that down. So I nuked it off the bottom of the page. Now, in addition to being more convenient from the programming side of things for now, I wanted to start at this end because it's most likely going to be the oxygen one that is dead the most. So it got the dead filter. Oh. I didn't need to work. send you back to that station. Don't tell me that's not, like, lined up. Oh, no. Oh, and the station numbers got all reversed now. Hey, why can't it... Why is that station 0? Huh. What's his wrong now? Can't you go beyond that? Also, I bet that's not even the right spot, is it? Now, okay, that works. Now, why didn't we make anything? That's the other question. Locked, but it's not... building the filter. You didn't drop it off still. Why did you not drop it? Is that not the right kind of bin for you to... This isn't working. That's not working. Nothing's working. Why is nothing working? You're locked, so that definitely did something, but didn't start writing the script. Figure out, well, okay, it shouldn't have necessarily got... I think the quantity was the wrong one to use, but I'm kind of okay with it for now. So there might be something. Yeah, let me just have to make something that does the dump operation, but it should come down here. Still did not make anything. Please don't try and fetch anything. And you still didn't print anything. Why no print? Why no print? Oh, because that's why. We left that as R2. Goes to the first position. Gets stuck. Why did you get stuck? Pass by that one because it's not 0. We grab this one because it is 0. Still don't make a filter because we hate me and nothing will work correctly. Please just make a filter this time, you cursed machine. I think I'm starting to get the understanding of how this stupid thing works. Or not. Apparently not. It should be making this right now. Nothing. Grab. Make. Oh, it's working. It might actually do it. It's there, a nitrogen filter. Goes back down. Drops it off. Comes back up. Hey, it worked! It worked! Oh my gosh, it finally worked. Oh, this is taking so long. This is taking, like, literally almost an hour and 45 minutes to figure out how this stupid arm works. I hate you so much, LARRE. Ugh. Linear rail articulated entity. You are a pain in the neck. But it worked. It actually worked. Ugh. Now we just have to, like, actually finish the script off. Make it drop that, like, dump that. Make it do all the other bits. Reset, re-loop, not do anything when it doesn't need to do anything. So there's a few leftover bits, but those should be actually quick this time. I know I said it would be quick last time. Oh. Man. Sounds like it's moving, but I don't see it moving. That's probably a graphical bug. Oh no. Why are you stuck, LARRE? We found a bug. I don't know how we did this, but I'm gonna do a quick reload and see if we can't fix it. One moment, please. Alright. A quick reload seems to have fixed LARRE's positioning, so now if I turn this... Oh, it's on already. So if I grab one of my dead filters, or let's just say 2 of them, go into here. Dying of thirst again. We stick that in there. We stick that in there. LARRE starts trundling along. Drink some water because we don't want to die. Starts hunting for filters. Find the one we need. Print a new one of the one we need. Off. Oh, I forgot. I need to move that a little bit further along in the process. We're just going to put it to do that. After we pick up the filter. That's fine, though. I'm confident that'll work. already been recording for far too long. Yeah. We run back to the beginning. There's still this one that needs swapped. Goes back out. This takes forever to run around. You are really slow. But that's okay. These don't need to be super fast. And we're done. Awesome. It works. I always forgot to set that. That's fine. I really don't care if it's set or not. We're just gonna quickly that new update. That's fine. So yeah, our arm finally works. Oh my gosh, it took forever. That was a painful thing to record. I am so sorry. I thought this would be like a real quick script to throw together. I did not know what I was signing myself up for at all. So a lot of this will have been cut out. And I will make a little voiceover to explain what I was doing and what was part of the whole dealio. So my apologies about that, but is the way things are sometimes. Luckily, I figured it out now. All is well. The arm is able to do the arm things. We should now have our atmospherics set up in such a way that they play nicely. I need to add some more iron into that, but that's fine. I can do that between sessions. I also probably should pipe this into the actual, like, drop off into the recycler bin. So right now it just piles things up on the floor, which is okay, because it gives us an opportunity to check what's been piled up. But we don't need to check what's been piled up. If we threw it in the bin and it's not something that we cared about, we probably should just bunch it up into little bits and let the recycler recycle it. But yes, this has been a bit of a mess of an episode, and I'm sorry for that, but I do hope you've enjoyed nonetheless. I feel like this was a big accomplishment, something, we started a long time ago and just finally got done. It feels good. I think this is the last WIP project that we had. So we have now our deep drills. Power is absolutely golden with our 42 minutes until our batteries are dead, 94% power. Furnace, automated. Atmospherics, automated. We don't get automatic ice, so we still have to mine for ice. So let's see. The things left on our to-do list. We have the upstairs of our base unfinished, so we need to build stuff up here. Preferably, as far as stuff goes, a living quarters and hydroponics setup. And then beyond living quarters and hydroponics, we need to build a rocket. Now, I'm going to say this rocket is to get off this rock, but really it's to mine for ice, so we don't have to mine for ice. And then maybe, depending on how long that takes me to figure out, which if this was anything to go by, it will be like 6 years, we'll build a trading station and figure out how to talk to the wonderful world of, or how to deal with the wonderful world of trading with other ships in Stationeers. So yeah, I've been Level36. I hope you've enjoyed. I've certainly something. I don't know if I'd say I enjoyed this episode, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the script that I will post and the more detailed explanation that I'm sure I threw over the mess of me trying to bang my head against a wall with this. And if you have, drop a like, a subscribe, a comment telling me that I'm stupid and this was way easier if I would have just done it this way. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. I think we're knocking off items on our to-do list. I feel like our base is getting much more functional and operationally ready. I do still want to actually like enclose the battery room and make this airlock not bad. I do need to also make this custom airlock script to make these automatic, so if we do have a area of the base break, it doesn't like vent the whole station. There's still a couple things. I guess I'm not as done as I thought I might be, but we are certainly getting there, and that's what's important. But yes, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.